Hey everyone! Today, we're doing something a little different. Instead of talking about Brazil, we're talking about how you can become Brazilian too. Brazil actually has one of the most accessible naturalization paths among major countries, if you know what you're doing. So today, I'm giving you a practical, step-by-step guide to becoming a Brazilian citizen. Let's start with the basics. There isn't just one way to become Brazilian. In fact, Brazil officially recognizes 4 different paths to citizenship, each one with its own rules, paperwork, and level of patience required. 1. Naturalization by residency, the classic one. You live in Brazil legally for a certain number of years, behave well, speak basic Portuguese, and you're in. That's the route most foreigners take. 2. Naturalization by marriage or family. If you marry a Brazilian citizen or have a Brazilian child, congratulations! You just unlocked the shortcut version of the process. 3. Special naturalization. This one applies mostly to Portuguese citizens because of a long-standing friendship treaty between the two countries. 4. Extraordinary naturalization. For people who've been living in Brazil for at least 15 years and can prove they've built a stable life here, even if they arrived under special circumstances. Now, most applicants fall into the first 2 categories, residency or family, so that's where we'll focus. And no, Brazil doesn't have one of those magical buy a condo and get a passport deals. Sorry, investors. But compared to many countries, Brazil's rules are surprisingly humane and realistic. The idea is that if you truly build your life here, you get to belong here. So let's see what that actually means in practice. Okay, now that you know the main types of naturalization, let's talk about what really opens the door to Brazilian citizenship: legal residency. To apply, you need to prove that you've been legally living in Brazil for a certain number of years. How many? It depends on your situation. 4 years for most people. 1 year if you have a Brazilian spouse or child. 2 years if you're from a Portuguese-speaking country like Portugal, Angola, or Mozambique. 15 years in rare, extraordinary naturalization cases, usually for people who've been here for decades with a clean record and full integration into Brazilian society. In short, the more connected you are to Brazil by family, language, or life story, the shorter your waiting time tends to be. But here's the catch. All those years must be legal and documented. Living in Brazil off the radar for half a decade doesn't count. Brazilian bureaucracy may look laid back, but trust me, it never forgets. That means you need to hold a valid residence permit or a visa that can be converted into permanent residence, like a work visa, a family reunion visa, or in some cases, a Mercosur temporary residency if you're from another South American country. Basically, if you've been living here legally, paying your bills, and learning to say pois é in the right tone, you're already halfway there. Now let's talk about the part everyone dreads: documents. Yes, Brazil is warm and musical, but citizenship here still comes with a good dose of paperwork. In Brazil, most of it is already digital. You can do almost everything online, from uploading your forms to checking your application status. So, it's less of a paperwork boss fight and more of a clicks and patience kind of challenge. The essentials: 1. Valid passport. Make sure it's up to date for the entire process. Simple but crucial. 2. Proof of legal residency. Documents from the federal police confirming your resident status, such as residency granted under the Mercosur residency agreement if you're from South America. 3. Criminal record certificates. You'll need one from your home country and another from Brazil. Both must be officially translated by a sworn translator. 4. Proof of income or financial stability. You don't need to be rich, just able to live independently. Bank statements, job contracts, or tax records are usually enough. 5. Basic Portuguese proficiency. No need to quote poetry. The test is simple. It just checks that you can handle everyday life. Pay bills, fill forms, talk to your neighbors. 6. Application forms. Everything happens through the Ministry of Justice's Naturalization portal. It's fast, digital, and surprisingly user-friendly, a big contrast with the old paper-heavy systems in many countries. Optional but helpful documents. CPF, Brazilian Tax ID, makes almost every form easier. Proof of address, usually the utility bill or rental agreement. Sworn translations, traduções juramentadas, required for any foreign document. So yes, there's paperwork, but it's straightforward, transparent, and increasingly online. Brazil's system may surprise you for the better, especially if you've dealt with immigration offices elsewhere. So let's start with a path most people take: naturalization by residency. If you've been living in Brazil legally for 4 years or more, you can apply for citizenship. And if you have deeper ties to the country, like a Brazilian spouse, a child, or you're from another Portuguese-speaking nation, that timeline can get even shorter. This is the standard route for digital nomads who settled here, professionals on long-term contracts, students who stayed after graduating, or anyone who decided Brazil isn't just a destination, it's home. The requirements in practice. Number 1, legal residency. You must have a valid residence permit during the entire qualifying period. No interruptions, no overstays. If you switch visas, make sure the transition is officially recorded with the federal police. 2, good conduct. You'll need to show a clean criminal record, both in Brazil and abroad. The government isn't looking for perfection, just proof that you respect the law and live responsibly. 3, financial stability. You should be able to show that you can sustain yourself through work, savings, or other legal income. 4, basic integration. The state will expect you to have a basic command of Portuguese and some understanding of local life. It's not about grammar, it's about belonging. If you can chat with your neighbors, navigate a government website, and understand the word jeitinho without anyone explaining it, congratulations, you're integrated. Once you've checked all the boxes, here's what the process looks like. Gather all your documents. Get any foreign papers translated by a sworn translator. Submit everything through the Ministry of Justice's online portal. Wait for analysis. This can take anywhere from a few months to over a year, depending on your case. If approved, you'll take an oath of allegiance and receive your Brazilian ID and birth certificate. Yes, you actually get a new one issued in Brazil. Finally, you can apply for a Brazilian passport, that beautiful blue one with the golden stars. Compared to many countries, Brazil's naturalization system is relatively transparent. There are no lotteries, no hidden fees, and no impossible language tests. The whole idea is, if you've lived here long enough, contributed to society, and built your life here, then you deserve to be part of it. Now, let's talk about a faster path to becoming Brazilian: naturalization through family ties. If you're married to a Brazilian citizen or have a Brazilian child, the process can be significantly shorter, as little as 1 year of legal residency. This rule exists because, well, you're already part of the story. You're building a family here, speaking Portuguese every day, celebrating birthdays, sharing meals, surviving December barbecues, ensures you're living the Brazilian life. Naturalization by marriage. To qualify through marriage or civil partnership, you'll need at least 1 year of legal residence in Brazil after the marriage or registration of the partnership, proof that the relationship is real and ongoing, things like joint bills, photos, or even testimony from friends and family, a clean criminal record, and basic Portuguese proficiency. It's not about showing romantic messages, just evidence that you actually share a life together. So Netflix subscriptions and electric bills may be more useful than love letters. Naturalization through a Brazilian child. If you have a child born in Brazil, the process can be just and quick. 1 year of legal residency and a stable family situation are usually enough. The idea is simple. Your child is Brazilian and the law recognizes that families shouldn't be divided by paperwork. What you'll need: marriage certificate or proof of união estável registered in Brazil or officially recognized here. Your residence documents, criminal record checks, home country and Brazil, and proof of income or financial stability. Translations of any foreign documents by a sworn translator. If your partner or child is Brazilian, you're already contributing to this society in the most direct way possible by being part of a family that's part of Brazil. Brazil also has a few special routes to citizenship, designed for very specific situations. Portuguese citizens. Let's start with the most special of the special cases, citizens of Portugal. Because of the historical and cultural ties between the two countries, Brazilians and Portuguese enjoy a kind of legal friendship known as Statute of Equality, Estatuto da Igualdade. That means Portuguese citizens can get almost the same civil rights as Brazilians after establishing residency here, and their path to naturalization is simplified. It's not automatic and it doesn't happen overnight. Special naturalization. This type of naturalization applies to very specific situations defined by legislation, such as foreign spouses or partners of Brazilian diplomatic staff abroad, and foreigners who have worked for more than 10 years in Brazilian diplomatic missions or consulates. These cases are extremely rare. They are handled directly by the Ministry of Justice, following strict legal criteria. Brazil also receives refugees and people admitted under humanitarian visas. For these groups, the main difference is how they obtain legal residency, not how they become citizens. Refugees may regularize their stay in Brazil, even if they cannot safely obtain documents from their home countries. And humanitarian visa holders have a simplified path to residence based on protection and human rights. Once their residency is granted, both refugees and humanitarian visa holders follow the same rules as any other foreign resident when it comes to naturalization. So you made it. You're officially Brazilian now. What happens next? You'll receive your Brazilian birth certificate, your national ID, and a voter registration card. Yes, voting is mandatory, but most people treat election day like a national barbecue anyway. Then comes the crown jewel, your Brazilian passport, dark blue with golden stars and the promise of visa-free travel across most of South America and parts of Europe. But beyond the documents, what really changes is how you see yourself. You'll start saying nós, we, when you talk about Brazil. You'll have the right to stay, to participate, and to help shape the country you chose to call home. So that's how you become Brazilian. Paperwork, patience, and a small but healthy sense of humor. If you want more videos like this about moving to Brazil, working here, understanding our culture, or becoming part of it, make sure you hit like, share this video, and subscribe. I'm Dan, and this was your practical guide to becoming Brazilian. See you next time. Abraços!